So horizontal analysis refers to across time. So we're going to calculate that change as a percentage. And so this is just going to require some basic algebra. But what we'll have to do is take a dollar change over a base period amount and multiply it by 100. And so what we have to be careful with here is what is the base period? And the base period will always be the prior period. So if we're trying to compare 2020 numbers, we'll be looking at 2019 as our base period. And so we can go over the calculation here. I'll take out my calculator. So what if we wanted to see how cash changed over the year, right? That's a useful metric. Did we gain more cash or did we lose cash? First thing to be careful with is always be careful with the dates. Financial statements normally put the most recent date on the left. And I think it's very common for most people to read as sequential, where the latest comes to the right. So just be careful here, where 2018 here is on the left. Companies can present either way, but most common presentation is most recent year on the left. So 12,000 minus 23,500. That's an $11,500 difference. So the question here, this is useful information to us because as management, we know that our cash dropped. And where would we see all the changes related to that cost drop? We'd see that in the statement of cash flows, which we covered last class. But the question here is, how can I compare it to a company who maybe has $10 million in cash? Well, what we do is we take the percent change. So we take the 11,500, and then we'd have to divide it by the base period. And so my question in class here is then, what is the base period? Perfect, Sunil. 2017. So we'll take it divide it by the 23,500, and we get a 48.9% change, a drop. When it's in brackets, that means a decrease. So this is a percentage. We can make it more of a true percentage amount by just multiplying that by 100. So this is 48.9%, 48.9% decrease in cash. And now we can see, based against other companies, how much their cash has increased or decreased and make comparisons. Generally, we'll do this for every single financial statement line item. If you ever become a financial analyst, you do this for every line item and then compare to your competitors, compare intercompany, compare pretty much everywhere you can to understand how you're doing compared to the market and how you can improve. And so, again, we can pretty much automate this, but the 520 minus 480, we know dollars increased by 40,000, and we divide it by the base period to get our 8.3% increase in revenue. And we can continue to do that down here to see all of the changes that occurred in each financial statement line item. So from this made up company, right, we can see that revenues increased by 8.3%. That's useful information. We know that we're selling more. How did we sell more? Well, also our costs increased by 14.3%, our cost of sales. So our profit margin has actually decreased because our cost of sales outpaced our revenues. That's a problem. We also, to increase the revenues, increased our selling and administrative expense by 2.1%. This is for internal management. Our interest expense over time decreased, which means we paid off some of our debt, which is good, and could be potentially good. And our net income, despite our revenue increasing, our net income decreased by 21.9% because of these cost of sales, increases in cost of sales and selling and administrative expense. And so then we can compare these market averages to other companies to see if we're on track. So to reiterate, which bucket does this fall into? Is this horizontal analysis? Is this vertical analysis? Or is this ratio analysis? Just make sure you're all paying attention. We're measuring the company over a period of time. And so during the final, right, I'll be exactly comparing horizontally to other years. That's another way to think of it. And so what I would recommend is just practice some of these calculations, because I'll be asking you to calculate percentages on your final, right? And then and asking you to memorize some of the ratios here.